Cozy games are warm, inviting escapes where we get to forget about the outside world, whether it's farming in Stardew Valley or crafting in Animal Crossing, or solving puzzles in Spiritfarer. These games are supposed to give us a sense of comfort, a sense of peace, and a world unlike our own where there really isn't much to be worrying about. But for a long time, I have had a sense that cozy games could be in trouble, and that the very thing we love about them might be doomed. Let me take you on a journey through the highs and lows of the cozy game genre. So stick around, because by the end, you might just be rethinking picking up what you thought could be your next obsession. So to understand where cozy games might be heading, let's first talk about where they originated. Cozy games weren't always as big as they are today. In fact, for a long time, they were a niche, something people turn to for a chill, relaxing gaming experience. And games like Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and Stardew Valley tapped into something that no other games really could: a sense of warmth and fulfillment that wasn't about epic quests or action-packed adventures. It was about small, seemingly mundane, but comforting moments, like planting a tree or catching a fish or talking to a neighbor. And for the most part, it worked. Stardew Valley became a massive success, and Animal Crossing New Horizons sold more than 34 million copies. These games let people escape, which was a far cry from the grind of real life. And it was a dream come true for people who needed something to unwind from the chaos of the world around us. But then something happened, and a lot of studios started jumping on the bandwagon. At first, it may have seemed like a good thing: more games, more options, more choices for the consumer to enjoy. But here's the thing: when something becomes a trend, it loses its charm. If you think about it, Stardew Valley was a game about farming, but it also had charm. Animal Crossing wasn't just about decorating, it was about building a community, and that was kind of the main objective. People literally made tier lists of the best villages to live with, and people abided by it religiously. But now we're seeing game after game with the same formula: farming, crafting, designing, and all else. It's really starting to feel like a copy-paste. Cozy games are starting to blend together in ways that do not feel fresh anymore. And I thought maybe I'm being too harsh, because cozy games by nature are not supposed to be high-stakes, high-drama experiences, but as they've grown in popularity, there's an inevitable pressure for something to really stand out and the need to really innovate. Look at my time at Portia, or Porsche, or however you say the name, and yes, this is actually a debate because I googled it before this video. Well, that game tried to blend cozy elements with RPG mechanics, or take Ooblets for example, which mixed farming with dance battles, although that died a pretty hard death when they decided to go exclusive to Epic Games. And on paper they seem like great ideas, but here's the thing: trying to make cozy games more complex doesn't always work. Sometimes it just makes them feel like they're trying a little bit too hard. And if you remember the promise of Farmville 3 or Farm Together, those games promised something fresh, but in reality they just felt like carbon copies of what we already knew, and without any of the magic. And that is a danger that more and more cozy games are beginning to face. The more you try to innovate, the more you risk losing the very thing that makes them special. The simplicity, the relaxation. But it's not just about formulaic gameplay. The cozy game boom has been a revolutionary yet troublesome time for creators and the viewers that support those creators. It is undeniable that amidst this genre of cozy games being absolutely everywhere, we've seen an increase in dedicated cozy game channels and content creators, which I think is a great thing. I mean, you can't complain about people making money talking about the things that they enjoy, as long as it's wholesome stuff like farming games, I suppose. But it's clear to see, especially if you are a regular YouTube comments or Reddit browser, that some viewers aren't as happy hearing about these games as some creators are talking about them, and has some cozy game consumers taking to Reddit to discuss that they just cannot keep up with the sheer volume of games that they're being recommended, and they don't know which ones they can really trust anymore. And it seems like that goes for both the game being recommended and the creator recommending them. But it is important to know that this doesn't apply to everyone. There are a ton of honest and fantastic creators out there doing the absolute most, and I don't think it's untrue to say that some have noticed a trend in some games being severely repetitive and copying the same formula one after the other. And sometimes in this case have even moved on to covering and discussing more cozy hobbies than just video games. And the worst part is some of these games are genuinely just designed to take your money and have no hope of being worked on or updated post their initial release. which is why it's so refreshing when you find developers that create roadmaps and actually stick to listening to their communities and vowing to provide valuable, engaging content for a prolonged period of time. It's just a shame that these honest and well-wishing studios sometimes get overshadowed and outnumbered by the more exploitative ones. But here's the thing. All hope is not lost. Cozy games can make a comeback, and it might just be what the genre needs to shake off its slump. If you take a look at Dredge, for example, it combines fishing with a darker narrative and a sense of, well, dread. Or Animal Crossing's new update that are starting to bring back that community feeling with seasonal events and expanding social areas. And these games aren't just cozy, they're thoughtful and deep, and they get it. I think the future of cozy games is really about going back to basics. It's about stripping away the layers of complexity and kind of nonsensical elements that give the impression of trying a little bit too hard, and remembering why these games worked in the first place. Taking it slow, having fun, and getting that satisfying feeling from small rewarding moments. Building community and completing important goals. These games don't need to change the world, they just need to stay as a nice escape from our very harsh reality. So technically, cozy games aren't doomed, not yet, but they are at a bit of a crossroads. The market is crowded and there is room for innovation, but very few takers. And if developers want to save cozy games, they need to go back to what made them special in the first place: simplicity, charm, and the desire to continue what you started. But I'm interested to hear what you think. Is the cozy gaming saga just a phase, or can it survive and innovate into something a little bit more long-standing? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you're still here, don't forget to subscribe, because I want to do more just talking to the camera, making videos like this about controversial topics in the gaming industry, or just thoughts that come to my head that I want to elaborate on. So if you have watched all of this, thank you very much. And don't forget to hit the like button on your way out as well, and I'll see you in the next one.